Really appreciate it, and perhaps we can give him a round of applause. Thanks, Jeff. Give him a round of great tour. Found out a heck of a lot about this. We got all the pictures we wanted.
Well, that's key. Everybody got the pictures they wanted.
So who's all funding this? Don't you get funding from Wilsonville and Washington County?
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, they cut,
Yeah, because I know Neil McFarland at GM, they asked him, it was KGW on the news channels about cutting it, and he said it was a small part of the budget. And I don't think that's really well known that Washington County...
But yeah, when you look at the Washington County agreement, any reduction in service has to be approved by them, and their funding level goes down accordingly also.
It's silly.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's almost good to hear that, because, you know, when you're away from the Portland metropolitan area, people think everything is done perfectly, there's no controversy, everybody agrees. So you're saying, no, like any other good American
we have a great PR department.
You have a very good PR department. No, because I was with a planning agency for 14 years. In Detroit, obviously. I've been away from Detroit for 17 years.
Me too, and I'm glad.
Oh, were you based in Detroit?
Yes. When Amtrak took over the off-corridor operating crews, I was the assistant superintendent in Detroit for Amtrak that started up all the crew base up there.
In Pontiac?
Pontiac came later. We only went to
Michigan Central.
Michigan. Yeah.
So this is 70, whatever it was, or whatever?
Oh God, it's so many years I can't count them all, but it was in no, it was in the mid 80s.
80s, yeah, I was going to say 80s. Pontiac's been around since.
Yeah, the extension to Pontiac occurred after I left there. I was only there for 2 years and then back to Chicago. They like to transfer me out of Chicago, let me go somewhere for 2 years, and then bring me back to Chicago.
Well, Chicago's the hub, so I'm proud to say for Thanksgiving, Amtrak was actually cheaper than flying to get to Minneapolis.
Okay. Well, I used Amtrak a lot this year. They really have improved an awful lot. I actually took the Coast Star line from LA to Seattle, and it came in 35 minutes early.
Well, Uncle Pete's down, so the economy's
must have those scheduled pretty well paid. That's all I got to say.
34 hours. No, what they said, the conductor said what the reason was. This was the big accident when Bush threw out someone who was really good, and they everybody thought was a political hack, but he wasn't a political hack. He was with the Union Pacific. I forgot. Kumant. Anyway, apparently Union Pacific was one of the biggest trouble.
Absolutely.
So he knew where all the skeletons were buried, and he threatened to enforce all the punitive powers they had.
Yeah, because I had trains that operated on the UP in the Midwest. They were the absolute worst. I mean, you couldn't get them to do anything.
So he knew where the skeletons were buried. In the meantime, all these transit agents were making their improvements along there for their commuter operations. And all that all together just basically helped with Coast Starlight.
Because when he first got appointed, I was like, this should be interesting to see how this works out with him coming to the UP, the worst performing railroad for Amtrak.
And it was a little like David Gunn. He seemed to be doing such a good job that I mean, he didn't last that long.
Well, damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know.
He got crosswise with the labor organizations. He made promises he couldn't back up. That was his downfall. Gunn.
You
know, that's his style, you know.
Tell me about actually on the train.
Well, I heard a great quote. I read a great quote just recently. It was about the Pioneer, and it was Claytor, William Claytor Jr., president at that time, was riding a locomotive, and he had the engineer ask Uncle Pete, you know, Union Pacific, why we had 3 freight trains going by, and the dispatcher said, "You'll move when I tell you to move."
That's a really weak signal. So anyway, they're saying that Kumant had a lot to do with cleaning things up, and he became, I think, through no help by Bush, just every once in a while, it's like the Supreme Court judge, they appoint them and they think they'll do one thing, and they end up following, they end up doing well.
To get that job, you have to be a it's the nature of the job, but I think it was an interesting choice based on how bad the UP was in Amtrak.
Yeah, I'm going. We're going down on Monday on Fall Light Los Angeles. I'm going down with Ziggy and two friends.
I'll let you take your sleeper.
Yeah.
That was the first sleeper train of any sleeper train I've been on where I actually slept.
But I'm a veteran of 2 a.m. arrivals in Salem, so.
No, right away is really in good shape.
Yeah.
It's all brand new.
Continuously welded rail. Now, what do you have? That's concrete, or is it
Concrete ties.
Concrete ties.
Yeah, they had the track machine go all through here.
How much freight does Western
We run about 4 to 6 trains a day.
You're Portlandized?
Yeah.
Yeah? Bob Newhauser.
Hi.
New York. What's your name?
New Yorker. Jason McCuff. I run RoseCityTransit.org.
You do what?
I run RoseCityTransit.org.
You're a blogger?
Kind of.
Kinda?
It's more of a static site, but it's, you know, it's kind of a blog.
So you joining us on our trips?
Yeah, some of them.
All of them? Some of them?
Some of them.
Which ones?
I was going to do this and see Mark Kavanaugh, his speech.
That's tonight.
Yeah.
But they're not really on the main track.
Yeah, I've actually met him before, but I've never seen him speak, so.
And up the drill, but that's not.